Well, another great person we're talking to right now is Father Chris Collins. He's the director of the Catholic Studies program at St. Louis University, and he's the author of the book Three Moments of the Day. Father Chris joins us via Skype from St. Louis. Father, thanks so much for joining us today.
It's a privilege to do it. Thanks very much.
We, of course, love St. Louis, and Archbishop Carlson has been working hard to bring Catholic TV out there as well. But actually, if you could, just give us a brief description of what Three Moments of the Day is all about.
Well, it's a way of kind of uncovering some ways to pray in daily life. And basically, the three moments are the morning offering, that daily offering that we can make at the very beginning of the day. And then at the end of the day, doing an examination of what has happened, just remembering what are the little things that went on during the day. And then how the Eucharist is really the centerpiece, the source and summit of our lives, and try to unpack the nature of the way the liturgy unfolds as a framework for what it looks like to make an offering of our day and all the little things, both the religious and the spiritual things, but the things that also don't seem to have anything to do with our spiritual lives, but they very much do in this context of Ignatian spirituality. That's kind of the only thing I know. So that's the kind of thing I think about and talk about and pray with. So I tried to uncover a little bit of that for people in their daily prayer lives.
Some people might recognize when you say the morning offering, the Apostleship of Prayer, Father James Kubicki, who actually wrote the foreword for your great book, and we've had a chance to interact with him, and it's wonderful to see the morning offering become once again part of our kind of spirituality, modern spirituality, I guess. Can you offer us, Father Chris, from the book some hints, practical ways that we can take the morning offering and these three moments during the day and actually be faithful to that?
Yeah, well, I'd say the first thing, and I'll say this also, I'm 42 years old. I never grew up with this spirituality at all, although there were little hints of it when my mom would say things like offer it up when I was being kind of a pain, I suppose, and I didn't know what that meant, but now I'm kind of uncovering what she was talking about. So it was definitely a centerpiece of spirituality for generations ahead of me. But I'm uncovering it myself, and I think the more we talk about it now with other people, it starts to make a lot of sense, because it's all about the little things. So the first thing to do is just do it. Make that morning offering. Before I even roll out of bed in the morning, I make some, even if it's a little bit of a jumbled version of it, I say something to Jesus like, help me to give this day everything I do, whether it's the explicitly religious spiritual things or all the mundane things that I have to do today, and all the people that I'm going to meet and the encounters that I'm going to have. Help me to do it in a way that is an offering from my own heart. Help me to do it freely and generously and lovingly, even if it means that I might get hurt along the way. So a centerpiece of this spirituality is the devotion to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, and having that kind of icon before us always. Jesus with his heart opened up to the world, and it's pierced, and it's bloody, and it's messy, but it's also on fire. And those different images of the Sacred Heart where Jesus is kind of pointing at his heart saying, look here, this is it, this is the way to live, this is the way to love. And then he's oftentimes beckoning with the other hand to us to say, this is the way you can live, this is the way you can love. And you can try not to get pierced and cover up your heart from different sorts of hurts that might come along the way, but that doesn't do any good. The fire is gonna go out. So somehow that piercing and the fire goes together. That's the Paschal mystery, really. That's the centerpiece of our Christian lives, as we know. So I think keeping that icon before us of the Sacred Heart, that makes a lot of sense for all the little things that we go through during the day. Sometimes we can be very generous in the way we offer things. Sometimes people can say something, or we experience something that kind of stings a bit or causes us to start to shut down. So we got to pay attention to that. When is it that my heart is really opened up and free and loving and generous, focused on other people? And then also, when do I get shut down on myself and feel sorry for myself and odds and ends? So that's where the examine comes in at the end of the day, kind of an evening review of the day. I try to make this ideal offering at the beginning, and then at the end of the day, I look back and say, well, what happened today? How did that offering go? When was I really giving my heart away? And then when did I start to shut down and get closed in on myself? And just pay attention to that, and then make that offering again the next morning.
Maybe if we could explore, Father, too, a little bit more about the combination of the devotion, as you were mentioning, to Sacred Heart, and as you were talking about how you're sort of involved in the Ignatian spirituality. But what made you decide to take this approach for this book?
Well, I've kind of stumbled into it over the years. From the very beginning, when I joined the Jesuits, I remember as a novice, I read a book by Pedro Arrupe, used to be the general of the Society of Jesus, and he said something in there. In fact, it was his last letter to the Jesuits around the world before he had a stroke. He said, "Devotion to the Sacred Heart of Jesus is essential for us, and we're losing it." This is in the early '80s. He said it's kind of gone away after the Second Vatican Council. A lot of the devotions went away. And he said, but for us as Jesuits, we need to recover this, make it our own, and make it available to other people. Because he said, if we renew it in our own lives, the whole order, the Jesuits themselves, we're going to be renewed if we recover this devotion to the Sacred Heart. And I said, well, that sounds good. I'd like to see that happen, but I don't really know what he's talking about. And then I kind of gradually, that Sacred Heart image kind of came to me a little bit more and more over the next couple of years. The big turning point for me was when I was on a reservation teaching in our high school, Red Cloud Indian School in Pine Ridge, South Dakota. And I was having a rough time in the classroom every day and getting defeated day in, day out. And I'd come back to the chapel in the afternoon and I thought I was praying, but I was mostly kind of feeling sorry for myself and muttering to myself. And then I started to look at this statue of the Sacred Heart that was right in front of me next to the tabernacle. And it was that image of Jesus saying, look, my heart gets pierced too. I try to offer things and it gets rejected, but it's okay. You can stay on fire. Just keep giving your heart away. So this kind of dialogue with Jesus started to happen with me. And ever since then, that has made all the sense in the world.
Well, thanks for sharing this with us, Chris. What's inside the book is tremendous. And I have to also compliment you. It has that, Bonnie Rogers is going to laugh at that this kind of rubbery feeling on the cover. I love that when books are like that. So it's a great treasure. Father Matt Malone, president and editor of America Magazine, says it's nourishment for the soul. Can people get it in all the usual great places?
That's right. AveMariaPress.com. That's who's published it, and Amazon, and who knows where else. Actually, the apostleshipofprayer.org also has it available, and you can learn more about the Apostleship of Prayer and this sort of spirituality there as well.
Fantastic.
All right. Thank you so much, Father Chris, for being with us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. God bless.